Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company specializing in cards. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains and excellent service, which is why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au.
Welcome everybody to episode 82 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Russell and Adam, and we are joined by our friends beyond the ditch, over the pond, down the road, the little mini island out the side. I don't know what to want to call it, but yeah, our friends from the Cardcodex. Carl, Parris, how you going?
Howdy doody.
Yeah, good boys. Good to be on again.
Taste this and now.
For those that are in the live streams, this is back to back for us. It's very
unlike our work ethic, isn't it?
We're hitting it. We're hitting it hard. We're on a back to back. I'm not resting.
Who's paying overtime?
It's the playoffs. I'm not resting in the back to back. All right. There's no performance management.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is out, so it's all good.
Hey, should we quickly just go into playoff mode? And because I know we all want to get rid of this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the playoffs anymore, but Dylan Brooks.
Man, we're going in early.
I just thought we can dedicate like 20 seconds to this guy. 40 seconds, actually, because he wants 40.
Well, I think he's the new poster child of, how to potentially ruin a career pretty quickly. I mean, it's fairly feasible that he's not going to get a decent-sized contract, and it's possible he might not end up anywhere. Although, of course, today there's already rumors and stuff coming out. Hey, maybe the Blazers should sign him. I'm like, Christ.
They've got enough trouble, haven't they?
Well, I just don't know what problem he necessarily solves with us that we don't have already.
Is Dylan Brooks the actual example of like the exception to the rule when it says any publicity is good publicity?
There was a guy called Dennis Rodman in the league at one time. He,
No, you can't discredit Dennis Rodman. Yeah, people love the bad boy Dennis Rodman.
The difference is, right, if you're giving a rating to Dylan Brooks on 2K, he's about in the 60s, right? At least Rodman was 99 on rebounding and defense. And I think that sort of lies his problem. And going back to his contract you were talking about before, he was in line for sort of around $15 million a year. And realistically, what's he going to look at now? Like the veteran mid-level at best, I would say.
Well, he went from, he's coming off 10 or 12 million or whatever it is into he's not coming back under any circumstance.
Yeah.
So is that is he essentially kind of poisoned himself for everyone? I mean,
enjoy
playing wants him to go to the Clips or the Nets or just or the Lakers would be hilarious. I don't know. It would. It'd be hilarious.
The funny thing is...
LeBron wants him.
It's really
Detroit's
interesting,
got
though.
The cap, so.
Detroit wouldn't pick him up. I don't think the Rockets will. It's going to
Someone
be
will pick him up. Miami would be the one. They'll be
you ready for this redemption arc? It'll be the Danny Ainge Utah Jazz nonsense, and he'll all of a sudden start putting up career numbers when the Utah Jazz are trying to lose again.
Yeah, well, he shoots enough shots. See, that's that really. If you get to the nitty gritty of it, his defense is actually really good. He's a pest. He's really good as a one-on-one player against Steph Curry through the regular season. He was really good. It's just he jacks up 20 shots that are shit, and he goes 3 for 19. And then his antics. So, but
it's the antics. It has to be.
I don't think the trade-off is there. Like if you're using the Rodman example, I mean, there's going to be crazy stuff going on, but he's going to die on that court and more than likely perform. Dylan Brooks
Rodman
very dumb
stats,
and potentially embarrass the whole team. So I don't know if the risk is really worth it, to be honest. And have you noticed when his hair's out, he looks like Cat Williams? Have you seen those photos?
He's definitely a comedian, that's for sure.
I don't know what he's doing.
So, actually, a couple of weeks back on the show, we really quickly touched him, and I actually said I didn't mind some of his sold prices, and this is before he, really went up the deep end. But that made me look terrible. But I'm just looking at his comps again, so I've just found a 17.
I'm going back to the well. I'm back to the well. Let's go.
to 10 the horizontal RPA, 70 USD. I'm like, I still feel like I'm getting sucked into this guy though.
Oh boy.
Put a bit on it, Russell.
Mate,
Don't
put
pay
a
more than
mark on the
40.
calendar. This is the day it all went downhill.
Oh look, I know this is a very bad opinion, but I'm still looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's actually, these prices are like
I bought all those
tempting,
RPAs and stuff. Next minute, Shanghai Sharks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though, like in collecting cards for NBA players, like those guys that have, even though he's a dickhead character, characters still have some value. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine if he sorts all his shit out, doesn't play that character, and actually like takes the right shots.
Yeah,
and
he'll be
still
fine.
plays good defense. Like people might, okay, come on board. Like there's got like Jimmy Butler. Like we knew what he did in Minnesota. Way better player, obviously. Like way above. But characters, we need characters in the NBA, and I think there is a bit of collectability around that. So
yeah, don't forget what he did in Chicago too. Like that was atrocious. The way that all went down. Like
the Rachel Nichols interview, yeah.
He just needed the right spot. Yeah.
Jimmy.
All right, enough of that business. Joel Embiid, MVP. Congratulations to him. Parris, let's turn this over to you, man. Where are you sitting with Embiid?
Well, I thought, to be honest, part of me thought he might have a pretty massive game to follow up, but it was pretty muted actually in the end of it. I think it was probably pretty close between him and Jokic, and I think the thing that probably did it is Jokic's just disinterest in the award in total. He's been super vocal about. I'm not saying that's exactly why they didn't give it to him, but on a knife edge between the two, stat wise, give it to the guy that will be stoked to get it versus the guy that'll just be whatever. I mean, from a PR point of view, at least. But I think. So
do you think that factors in more than voting fatigue?
I don't know. I mean, the voting, maybe. I mean, it's always tough when a big man wins. It's hard to. It hasn't got the kind of hype and shine, as like the flashy guard sort of the win and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I like him because he's a real throwback. He's kind of slow. He's big. He's powerful. I enjoy watching him play. I kind of enjoy Jokic more because I think his passing game's just the funnest part about watching him play, and how he works the paint and how he can just pull a team apart and not even shoot the ball is amazing.
Yeah.
But on the hobby side, we were talking about, I guess, on the pricing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's touch on that.
I don't think it's probably going to move the needle much at all, to be honest.
I think Embiid is set where he is. Like, I think he's got a following. I don't think this brings more bodies on board as far as collectors go. Maybe.
I think generally his fans are like, yeah, about time, and he deserved it. And all the other people that aren't diehards are like, yeah, fair enough. And that's probably about it. It's not like, need to hunt me out some RPAs and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think the MVP stuff will move much, but a championship would be the mover, because especially with Jokic and Embiid too. If they go, one of those two go on to win a championship, I think that's where hobby movement could happen. Because a
finals MVP, you mean?
Yeah, like if he goes through, dominates a finals, gets the finals MVP, I think the mood will shift a bit in that. So, and it's always hard around the big men. Like it's one of those sort of cliches, but it's true.
Yeah,
in the hobby.
Yeah.
So
well, I think you only actually see astronomical moves in pricing where there's some kind of edge to the player as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the person that's probably had the best example of a slow build just on skills probably been Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got no edge whatsoever, but he's a killer player. He's, seems like a really nice stand-up guy and stuff.
Yeah, very popular with kids. I think that's the other thing with him.
Yeah.
And, there's a bunch of good role models in the NBA, like Lillard, him, all these guys, but they're not at the front edge of collecting. It's always been the guys that are exceptionally skilled but have some kind of thing.
Yep.
The X factor, it's
Giannis, the Greek freak. Like he's,
Yeah. I mean, he's an exceptional player, but he's just such a nice guy.
Yep.
And stuff that everyone's just like,
But what about a fun guy like Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. That's it. Like the ones that are legitimately nice people make themselves available for the media, are in the spotlight in a positive light. You're right. They get a lot of positive press. They do the flashy things on the court, but
they're
they're
kind
also
of forgettable, outside the game.
You look at Curry and Giannis, and the thing they've got in common with another legend, in my eyes, is that same killer smile that Magic had. Do you know what I mean? Like when Curry gives you that cheeky grin, he's like, "I'm about to go off."
Yeah,
Like
he enjoys.
and he loves the game.
He
the way he
enjoys it,
plays
doesn't
it.
he? Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think
It's kind
that
of like the Tim
translates to
Duncan
kids.
effect.
Yeah.
It's what it's like amazing Hall of Fame career destined players, but just absolutely no marketing edge.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of, and I think we've definitely talked about this on our thing before, in that it went from Magic and Bird, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. It was gonna be Luka, Zion, something or other, but the Zion train derailed so hard that I don't even know who the next sort of person is when Bron goes. Who's the face of the NBA? Because Steph's getting on as well. I mean, who's the next guy that's going to carry it for the next 5 to 10 years?
As much as this is going to make me feel sick and like I may actually
Dylan Brooks.
throw up.
I hear where you're going with it.
Tatum.
And I believe it too. Yeah, I mean, it could.
Tatum is big.
Yeah.
And he's performing on a high stage. That's the thing. He's getting to those.
How old's Giannis? So I think he's very much in his prime.
Yeah, you're right. Late 20s.
Yeah, that's okay.
I still
But
think
there's
it's
not
Luka.
another Bron, though, is there?
I still think it's Luka. It's Luka Doncic. He just needs to get his teammates sorted out.
He needs to kick Kyrie out. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. He's got the edge, though, as you guys talk about. He's got something extra. We've seen playoff moments already from him. He bitches all the time to the refs, which is a bit of a downside, but he's got that killer instinct, like the little rivalry with Devin Booker that he has. He's like, no, I'm not taking that shit. Right?
I think it's why it's tough, like with those, real established teams like the Lakers and Boston, because to become the megastar guy, you kind of have to be neutral in a way. Like when Jordan came up, Chicago wasn't shit, and everyone could kind of get on that bandwagon. It wasn't the Lakers, whatever, it wasn't Boston. So, I mean, there's a bunch of people that are just going to hate on Boston and LA and Golden State, California, full stop. So there's always going to be these pockets of people that, and at a fan level, where I just don't like the Lakers, I don't like whatever.
Haters are going to hate.
Yeah, pretty much. And this one, I'm kind of the same. This one praying like God that Dylan Brooks goes there and
downfall of the
We
Lakers.
already had Patrick Beverley, all right? We had Westbrook and Beverley this season.
And you deserved it.
No, we did not deserve Beverley on top of it.
But you know what I mean? It kind of almost needs to be like the Giannis sort of Bucks out of nowhere, but everyone can appreciate greatness. And it really needs the league to get behind them as well.
Yeah.
And, I think the league got really, really burnt with Zion. We shoved down everyone's throat forever and ever. Amen. And then
they've
what
marketed
happened?
Jar pretty hard, I think, too. That's probably the
Jar,
other guy, I think.
It's and Trae Young's sort of fallen out of the contention for the next sort of guy as well. So it is pretty much, I'd say they'd be hanging their hats on Luka and that 7'3" kid from next year.
It'll be Randall. It'll be Julius Randall. You watch. The Knicks are just out of nowhere.
I think that's a bit more down the track, though. I think in between that, there's going to be, Giannis, I think, will be there. I think Steph Curry will be there, immediately. And then
I really think it's the LeBron-Steph era.
And then I think before Luka, you could probably argue that maybe Tatum will hold the best player title for a couple of years. So maybe that will be that sort of, it'll be almost like a staggered sort of transition to.
Well, I'm in that camp. I just find it hard to get excited about Boston, and I don't know. It just doesn't really. Same with LA, all these things. I cared when Damon was being the assistant.
What about Jar if he pulls his head in, like, as in stops with the gun?
Yeah, well, he's got that X factor about him.
That's what I mean. Like he's got that. Does. Just needs a good team around him.
Yeah, the way he plays is,
and he
just
does at the
wild.
moment.
It's
those
real
Grizzlies were. Yeah.
It's like Iverson-esque. It's very high flying in the paint, challenging everything and trying to do everything amazing, but that can go wrong really, really fast as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, just really quickly back to Embiid. I actually feel that him winning the MVP means for collecting him more than that. And you're speaking before about that slow burn with Curry. Why can't there be a slow burn going to the future with Embiid? And I
Because
know
he's
this is
big and boring.
yeah, but I think
There
when
is that factor.
you start to sort of like look at the all-time guys and guys that win MVP, like it's a relatively short list.
Yeah.
And this is something I want to run past you guys too. So at the moment, his PSA 10 is sitting at 1,100.
Yep.
And all-time he's
the
up
base
the silver.
silver. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So all-time he's up 156%.
Hmm.
The last 3 months he's up 44%. But if you look at the last 2 years, he's actually down 66%. So his all-time high it sold for 5.7. So
He's got a bit to make back there to get to that
So
level, but
the question I'm leading you guys to is, and we were talking about this last night, and Adam had an opinion about this. How do you take into consideration that all-time price when you're looking at today's pricing?
I think it could get back to that level eventually. I mean, the good thing about it is like his cards they're scarce compared to.
So pop of 81 for that.
Yeah, I mean, he come in like cards at that time, the early 2010s. What is 2014 is his rookie
Yeah,
year? So,
good job, mate. Perfect.
yeah, what's his
14.
second year Prism? So, yeah, I think he's definitely collectible. So it's just the injury thing and the consistency with Embiid to have a long career too is going to be the toughest thing for him. So,
Well, and the other thing is people, when you see the astronomical price rise, it's because people see it as an investment too. Like it's money well spent, not, and maybe they're banking on there's another 30% lift in there if back-to-back MVPs, wins a championship, whatever. Then the fans, if they zoom out and look at the charts and go, well, it's cheaper than it was in the past, so he's my favourite player. It's probably worth it, a good time to buy, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, that you're talking about where it's same with crypto and any sort of stocks, and you get really myopic about the range you're looking in. And sometimes when you zoom out and look at a longer time range, you can actually see either you're actually up or, compared to where you started, or you're actually down or whatever. So I think it's relative. And I don't know, from an investment point of view, I don't really know anything outside of late 90s sets and serial numbered stuff that's kind of bulletproof, to be honest. I mean, I watch all those videos of the guy that tracks the biggest losses in sales.
Oh, yeah.
Like Steph Curry,
That's rough.
$1 million, then sold for 330,000. So, I mean, that's from the height of COVID money.
Is he on Twitter? Is that who you're talking about?
He's on YouTube, but he goes, it's like, he does biggest gains and biggest losses, but it's all serial number stuff. So you can match all the serials and stuff. So he's talking about the exact same card, which is kind of cool.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them, even on those players that we're talking about, I mean, not just the popularity, but the amount of available money that people are willing to put into things like that is exceptionally tight at the moment, and I don't know what a sure bet, like I said, outside of late 90s serial numbered whatever, that even comes close to being that, because key Steph rookie cards, they had LeBrons, all kinds of stuff, those dizzying heights that we're talking about, we're not there anymore. No. So I think there's probably a little bit more bottom to be found in it, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But more bottom to be found in that. I think you just have to be in for the long haul. That's really what it is.
It's coming back to collectors, I think. And
definitely.
If you're a collector, it's a good time to buy.
Absolutely.
It's been a great time to buy for ages. Yeah. If you're an investor, I would be very, very, very picky around what I was buying.
Well, sorry.
That's all right. I was going to say, I've got comments from the chat, which is actually
we've got comments
relevant. Yeah, we do. There's an accent on the S, so I'm just saying Stephen Sale or Sale, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's funny because he says someone needs to say Giannis correctly. So I think Russell says Giannis. What do you say?
I say Giannis.
Do you guys say Giannis?
Giannis
is correct.
Giannis.
Is it?
Giannis is how it's pronounced, though. As far as
don't ask me to do the surname, forget about it.
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, it's just Russell's Victorian accent. There.
I think Stephen was just taking the piss.
I thought there's a lot of Greek Greek people down in Victoria, but yeah.
Gang up on Russell. Come on, let's go.
Although the follow-up comment about the market, MJ and LeBron are like Apple and Microsoft stocks. The hyped rookies are like crypto meme coins.
Sure.
Interesting. I like that. I like that.
The comparison.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Milne has said PSA guy. I think that's the one that compares. Is that right?
Might be, yeah. So if you don't watch those, check them out because some of them are.
Why don't we share that on the socials, lads?
Devastating.
Because it sounds like a good watch. So
you'd enjoy it, Russell.
Yeah. Let's stick with this theme about talking about the market coolness. So let's go back up to the top. So what are some of the things that you've seen with the market cooling off? Like, what's some of your observations?
A lot of fire sales. Just a lot of people saying, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out. That's the big headline. It used to be the occasional sale going, regrettable sale because I need to move house. Regrettable sale, medical condition. Now it's like, hands up in the air, I'm out, come and get your cards. It seems like a lot of panic selling. And look, it's helping with the drop-off of prices, but I don't know. It's
yeah, we've definitely seen that here too. Probably not to the same extent as Aussie, but I've definitely seen. Oh yeah, I've had enough of collecting now and selling all what I've got, make offers, and yeah, it's definitely happening here too.
It's funny. It's funny though because a lot of the people that didn't fire sell their stuff in the 90s, that just put stuff away,
chucked it in the attic. Yeah,
yeah. Like when all right, I know how to protect my cards. I'll put my collection away. We're coming out in COVID, going through their stuff and finding like Jordan rookie here and there, Kobe rookies, like scoring kings, random Jordan scoring kings.
That's actually a really good point, Ed.
Like, why do you need to sell out?
Yeah.
Just put your stuff away and stop buying.
But I think that wasn't the real collectors, was it? It was guys that might have just...
The sports card investors.
Or people that just wanted a bit of a taste during COVID. Because remember what we were doing through COVID, lads. Like, the highlight of my nights most weeks was watching breaks, and we played a lot of online board games with friends. Like, it was, the options of entertainment were somewhat limited. So you can understand how guys, just came in and had a dabble, and maybe they're also the lads who would just, jumping straight back out too.
Yeah. But I don't know. We've seen this happen. Everyone compares it to the junk wax era. Sure, this might be junk wax 2.0, but there was a revival afterwards, and it went nuts. Like they reinvent ways to get in and out and around the hobby. So I don't know.
What do you see, Carl?
It's not the same as the initial junk wax era. I mean, there's still like, if you want to buy a box from like 91 Hoops, there's still thousands of the bloody things lying around that people haven't opened. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And with Fanatics going to be taking over, and that's just going to, I think they'll drive a lot bit more innovation into the hobby as well. So there's definitely, it's definitely cooled off. I mean, we've gone over all this before. The flippers have fallen out, collectors are left, and some guys, and I still see more people coming into it just now. They've got, oh yeah, my cards I've got. So and Parris would be the best to know. That's a guy that he collected all the way through, never stopped. Whereas I jumped back in 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's still people like me just coming back in now. So yeah, it's not as bad as what some people say, I think.
I agree with that.
Enjoy the time now, because if the whole people jump aboard again, we're going to be moaning about, the prices of this are going up. So just enjoy it while lasts. And everything goes up and down. Everything, oil, money, whatever, food, the house prices, it all goes up and down. Just buy at the right time. Don't feel like you're going to buy overpriced stuff. That's my golden rule. Don't overpay for it unless you really, really, really have to have it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, Parris, I cut you off before, mate. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I still think the hobby's got a bit of a problem with perceived value and rarity, and where, one release comes out and there's 9 different one-of-ones of every player, and it used to be special when you get, something special. Now everything has to be special because they've kind
of anticipation awards.
Yeah, they've engineered the market that every pack needs a hit. and that wasn't the case in the heyday,
Mm.
and if everyone's got a hit, then nothing's a hit,
Correct.
and I think that's what we're kind of seeing, where there's, there was 40 parallels or whatever within Prism, and that's purely just because when you buy a box or a pack, you've got a good chance of getting something that you deem to be a hit, but you're sure as hell not making your money back on it, in a lot of the cases. So, back in if you think about the original,
particularly at the moment, I think sealed and singles, that equation is completely out of whack. Yeah,
it definitely is. I mean, early finest, just the refractor version with the chase cards, one a box. Now there's like a silver a pack if you buy a Prism. So the bar's been dropped so low that I don't think people actually know what rare is anymore, because everything is deemed as a chase card.
So what would you call rare at the moment then? How do you sort of perceive that? Because actually we were talking about this yesterday, because Adam was saying that one of ones aren't special anymore. Or what was the word you used, Dad?
It was basically, there was so many one of ones these days that, like, what do you compare? We were comparing Donruss. So it was, cool. There's a one of one in that, but there's 27 in Select that are coming out.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a true one of one. And what's the value of a one of one if it's a sticker auto on look, the card looked good, the Paolo card we talked about, but I'm like, I'd probably be more comfortable spending $7,000 on a numbered to 49 RPA of the guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess what kind of happens is you're driving, or the hobby is driving and forcing people to select.
Yeah.
You lay a whole bunch of hits down. What is the actual chase one among it? Is it the Zebra Peacock, something with fucking Monopoly on it or something?
The Monopoly stuff. Oh my God.
I don't even know, and to me, they all look garbage anyway. So I don't really even care. You know what I mean?
But are they junk waxing it by creating more parallels? Is what my argument
they're
was.
redundicizing the chase.
Yeah,
because everyone wins the chase. But do you really? Probably not. I just think of some of the classic inserts of the past, like really just amazing base cards like Flair Showcase and things like that, right?
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful. Legacies with the chase, and then they had the one of one masterpieces, and that was it. That was it.
That was it. There was no. I mean, I liked rainbows about, what are we now, 2023? Say 7 or 8 years ago. I liked a rainbow when a rainbow chase meant 8 to 10 cards. Do you know what I mean? I've got my base, I've got my silver parallel, and then I've got all the numbered parallels.
Yeah.
And you go $2.99, $1.99, $99, $49, $25, $10, $5, one of one. You pull the one of one, you go, the rest of that is achievable.
Yeah.
Now people are like, I have 2 one of ones, but I'm missing the other 7, and I need.
I think I saw a guy on Reddit that, because it made me think about poker. Because you have the Royal Flush, and you've got all of the same inserts, say. And some guy on Reddit had put, like, I got a rainbow, but it was like all from Prison, and they were all different parallels. So they weren't the same card, but he just got the numbering. So it was like each of the parallels he had managed to get his guy, but in each of them, but not the same parallel the whole way through. So it might be like ready for takeoff out of 149, it was Bron. Then he's got another subset that Bron's in, another parallel of one of those, and he had a 101 as well. But the ability to get a true rainbow is so impossible now.
Yeah.
Essentially, that you got people doing not a royal flush in poker, but a straight flush.
Yeah.
It's not like it was kind of crazy. I was like, well, I think new collectors are kind of like that, and they go, hey, it's cool that I've got like all the different serials. Like, okay, cool.
Isn't it just catering to the market though? Like,
but is it though? Like, I feel like I don't want to chase a rainbow because there's too much of it now. So.
Not exactly the rainbow chasing, because I think that's crazy, ridiculous.
You mean the hits?
I mean the hits, because like even you get something out of 199 now. It's like, like you see breakers and you get an order of something. It's like oh yeah,
but it's good, yeah.
So
that's a fair point.
You know why they don't put pack odds anymore? I mean, this is why.
Yeah, because it's
You know,
one.
you jump back
the
to
last
20,
time
one
there
in
was
36
Cardcodex?
packs, 1 in 18. You buy a box, you know you're probably going to get one of these, 2 of these, and maybe 4 of these.
Yeah.
And
Now,
you might get of this.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there were pack odds on the Space Jam release.
There you go, Upper
Oh,
Deck, eh?
God.
Yeah, good old
Upper
Upper
Deck
Deck.
stuff. Yeah.
Good old Upper Deck,
Good.
and they, yeah, nail on the head. They were like, and I think the chance of getting a LeBron auto,
It's like 20,000 packs or something, eh?
Yeah,
it was
25,000.
200 and something thousand.
Oh,
was
was
to
it
get the
200?
auto
Okay.
200.
There you
packs,
go.
or
If
was
you're
one
asking-
in 250,000 cards or something. It was ridiculous, and you had to do the maths back on it.
But if you're asking what rare is, I mean,
Yeah.
that is the rarity.
Yeah,
You know, what's the chance of hitting a silver in a box of Prism 1 in every 2 packs?
yeah,
Wow, I hit one. Am I rich now? Probably not. You know what I mean? But if it's like 1 in 200,000 cards, you go, okay, this might be actually legitimately rare.
yeah.
So just hold that thought for a second, because I actually think they've done that on purpose. So they've
Ooh.
definitely expanded out the print run. I think there's like no debate about that.
No, to
And
fill demand. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely demand, right? Because I think
Yep.
if they didn't do that, I think what we would still be experiencing is those insane prices that we had. Because I think that actually these days there is actually more people participating in the hobby.
Yeah,
And when they didn't print enough in that 17, 18, 18, 19 year, I think that was part of the reason why the prices did get driven up a bit, because there was actually, more people in there. And so I think at the moment, it's correct what you're saying. You're going to open these packets and you're not going to really get anything out valuable. But I still think there is a demand for people to open packets and enjoy that sort of, experience of doing it. So that's one part of it. Then the second part of it is then actually creating genuine scarcity, which, so for example, maybe the one that's easiest for me to explain is a case hit, say, out of Court Kings, right? Like the blank slate.
yeah,
Like that's genuinely a hard card to pull. Maybe 1 per case, maybe 0 per case, maybe 2 if you're very lucky, but otherwise, quite difficult to get.
But I think the
true.
hobbies recognise that. I mean, they're doing it with blank slates, kabooms, downtowns.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone kind of knows that if you think about the chase cards from the last sort of 5 years that probably are actually going to stand the test of time as far as sets goes, it's those ones.
Yeah.
Because I think the hobby knows.
yeah.
And they've kind of figured it out and go, okay, these are actually legit rare. You don't see too much of them. They are highly collectible.
Yeah.
They're on the list.
Yeah, true.
Then
and I think what you were saying before, Russ, about the overprinting for the demand and stuff. You're right, but I think we're only seeing the back end of that now. There was a real big time where they were rinsing the market in those same scenarios where the demand was high, the hits were and the price was high too.
Yeah.
So I think once they came out the back end of that,
what
and the
year are you
demand
talking about, Parris?
Pretty much all the COVID times.
I was going to say, what about your 20,000 Lucas or your 20,000 base Zion for the PSA 10s?
Hang on.
Yeah, and it would go back to then as well. But I mean, Luca and Zion kind of reignited it for when COVID hit. There was already that hype kind of driving it.
So can I just interject there? Because so this is the example I'm going to give for that. So 22-23 retail Prism, in one case you get 1 numbered card to 42. Right, so do the maths on the cases for that. Right, the other thing to consider too is I spend too much time on Twitter, but I see all those pictures, people going to the local Targets and all the shelves are full. Now you multiply out how big America is and how many Targets there are, right, with the full shelves.
Oh,
Sure.
Like, do the maths, right? The amount of stuff that I think they're currently printing.
They've separated products into retail and hobby release.
Totally,
right?
yeah, 100%. But it just gives me a headache more than even looking at the parallel list on Prism Hobby, right? Like, it's just, that to me is unbelievable.
The problem that they don't have going in their favor now is they don't have that Zion guy. They don't have Luca. I mean,
Wembanyama's coming.
Cade got injured, and he was like super hot. I haven't heard anyone talk about Cade Cunningham in months.
We talk about him every week on the show. Come on,
every couple of weeks.
That means you're not tuning in.
Pistons fan.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Is it Paolo Banchero, is he the new guy that everyone's going to be going out and buying boxes
No.
looking for?
No.
No,
He's great.
Not until he leaves Orlando.
probably not. But you know what I mean? You need kind of the candle burning from both sides. You know, there needs to be the person, and there
Supply
needs
and the demand.
yeah. And I think they went through the part where the demand was bigger than the supply.
Yeah.
And then they increased the supply, which grew in tandem with the demand because of COVID and everything. And now they kept those things up, and the demand's fallen off, and that's why you're seeing full shelves and stuff like that, because they've got all this product, but everyone, well, sample of one, when I'm looking at what could be in there, is zero interest for me.
So I'm going to try and just put a positive spin because I really want some positivity out of where the hobby's going.
He's talking like a guy that's got like 50 cases of cards he's just bought.
No. The positive light I'm thinking about is maybe these products aren't for us.
Yeah.
Maybe these parallels upon parallels aren't for us. Maybe it's for the grassroots, the kids, the 10-year-olds to the 15-year-olds that play domestic basketball. That's why the shelves are chockers with this product. We keep chasing the product because we're so scared of the scarcity of the good stuff that we grab whatever we could. And we started taking hoops out of the hands of kids. I think we need to slowly move away from that and go, you know what? We're grown-ass adults. Let's buy adult products. You know what I mean? Where you're buying the product that has the rarer hits, the autos we're chasing, the quality, the RPAs. Now, maybe that's still out of our range because of the boom, but we shouldn't be drawing on hoops and Donruss.
You know, I mean, collector's choice back in the day was the lowest sort of value entry product, that and hoops, I guess.
What's his name? John. What's the Jordan thing from Collector's Choice? That's my chase. Oh wait, no, that was Upper Deck SE. different set.
I've got the
what year? Club, I think, was the parallel. That wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Anyway,
I'm gonna Players Clubs and Players Club Platinum.
Yes.
But we do. It's when we were kids, 100%. There was cheap product for us, right?
Yeah.
So because of the COVID lunacy of all these investors buying up product, we've got this insane FOMO, and we were taking hoops blasters off the shelf to stop just so we could get them.
Yeah, 100%, Adam.
Well,
I think you're spot on the money. Spot on.
But I mean, Breakers did a lot in there as well. I mean, they were able to break boxes of hoops, for 40% above retail if they could get them at a cumulative level. So it became a business.
Yeah. Does the high end sealed come down now because the market, the bottom of the market starting to implode?
I think it has to, because I mean, you know, a lot of the breaking of high end products very hard to fill.
And we all speak about the glory, like the good old days. I do. I like being able to go in case breaks of NT for reasonable prices, not a box break of NT.
I think it just readjusts. It'll just readjust because
people will stop buying it because there are wealthy people that are buying up all the product.
I'm not buying in. I know we talked about this last time when we were on, guys. I'm not buying into an NT break when they got sticker autos, and not this piece of jersey is not associated to any player event.
Someone in the organization,
So I think
this on the court we play on, and then
it could be anyone. So
well,
I think it just really.
If you're collecting the Pistons, I mean, you could buy every single card you want for the cost of the entry, probably.
Not correct, and that's.
I mean, that's not even trying to be funny. You know, I mean, that's kind of truth. I mean, you know, I would never enter a flawless break looking for Raptors to get Stoudemire stuff or whatever. I'd buy it all secondary and all the
market.
People that bust it and break it and go, who the hell is this guy? I'm going, thank you. You know, I'm not paying those premiums.
Yeah,
but,
that's
thank
true.
you for getting them.
That's true. I just think there's there's a market correction that hasn't sort of flowed all the way through, and at the moment the bottom end's copping it.
I would think Fnatic. I would hope that Fanatics has probably got a bit of a strategy around that, because it's vitally important. Like I think we touched on before, to be able to get the kids back in and get them falling in love with the hobby of basketball cards, not the business of basketball cards, where you see all these little kids like that, sport card investors, kids always flipping shit and doing all this. And I made $40 and I did this and I did that. And it's like, okay, cool, but are you going to be doing it in 5 years or 10 years?
Yep.
How much do you actually love the hobby, or are you just doing it because your dad's lost $1 million in cards and he needs the help? I don't know. It could be anything, but I don't know. I think you have to love it before you profit from it. Ideally,
you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy collecting cards, if you want to make a bit of money out of it or not. At the end of the day, you have to. You'll fall out. It's like anything. If you're collecting anything, if you don't really like it, your heart's not in it, and you'll eventually move on to something else. It's just a readjustment period still, and probably the bottom's still coming up in a little bit, but then things will start coming back. I think
it will. I tend to agree. I feel like the real world economy, the problems we're having in the real world economically, some of that needs to be applied to the hobby, because we can't combat inflation in the hobby until people's spending habits within it change.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is happening. I mean, I'm not seeing anywhere close to the volume of breaks being advertised and filled, or to your point before, lots more sales and that sort of stuff. So I think that everyone's trying to figure out the liquidity of the market at the moment.
It's really cooled off 100%. It's
and if you
but I mean, saying that, like I said before about the sort of the bulletproof sets and times as well. I mean, they're still like as strong as ever. I mean, especially more so maybe in the mid range. Like, there's still good money out there for legitimately rare things. It's just anyone that's a hobby fan and knows a lot about the hobby can instantly tell what's worth money and what's not. And I think new dumb money coming in is just like shiny stuff. Give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to hold this thought about, we're talking about the card market cooling off, and I want to talk about sealed boxes. So I'm going to list off to you guys a whole lot of sealed product, and then I want you to predict for me what's going to happen to it over the next couple of years. So all of these sales are Prism Hobby. So I'll just tell you the year and the price. So 2012, $5,040. These are all USD. 2017, $1,175, and all of these prices are verified from Card Ladder. 2018, $3,999. 2019, $1,106. 2020, $1K. Now there was a little bit of gaps here, so the next one is 2023, and sitting around 500, 550 US at the moment. So,
well, I would say that last one's going to drop. If I had to have a guess. I mean, I think the key rookie years for people are always going to have some value. I mean, like in our group, Michael Sharp's got boxes of Chrome, I think, from Vince Carter's year and stuff, and it's like he's just kept those since he got them, I think. So, and even still, you still got to have someone as of the caliber of like a Vince Carter or whoever else was in the rookie year for it to have the value that it has today. But if you've got anything sort of 96, 97 Kobe year stuff or 2003 Bron year stuff, I mean, that's going to be a hold for as long as you can handle it, I think. Probably be the same. And don't drink whiskey and open it.
It's true. I mean, you go looking for 96 product.
Yeah.
There's none. Like, not openly for sale, not for any reasonable amount of money.
Yeah.
So is there any of this that you lads are buying up and putting away for the long term?
Not me personally, because I mean the only modern guy collects Brandon Clark, so and it's cheaper than it's ever been. So I'm not going to kind of bank that, in regards to that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I still think it's too volatile at the moment. Outside of a Giannis, a Curry, a whatever, there's probably some bit more faith I'd have in those. But again, last sort of 3-4 years.
I think you just got to go where the proven players are. They've got to have built up that reputation, build up, wins. And so going back through each of the hobby boxes, you just got to hold it long enough. I think all of them if you hang on to them long enough, you're going to make money eventually at some stage. But like, there's obvious draft classes spread throughout which just aren't as good. Like, I think it was the one after Giannis, which was like Wiggins was the number one pick. So, like, you probably don't want to go with those ones. But like, if you hold on to 18, if you hold on to like 18, 19 with Luka, like, eventually you'll make your money back. How long do you want to hold it for? That's basically what it comes down to.
Was there was hype about the one of one, the one of one for Luka not being pulled.
Yeah, so
drove prices through the roof, remember?
And the bounty on that too.
Yeah, so if you do your research and go, what's actually out on the market, what actually has been pulled, and you know that there's a few key cards out of that product which haven't surfaced, you can go, well, this might be a good thing to hang on to. And then, you can build up quickly a marketing thing around it. Like,
of course.
It's not that hard these days. So you just got to do a bit of research into it. And, like, if you go, like, original, like, 2012 Prism, the first year, like, it's the first year Prism. Prism has made its name whether we like it or not. Just like Finest. I love Finest. But if you have first year Finest unopened boxes, you can't go wrong, to me. Just buy at the right time in the right place.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so Prism's got the name. Like, I wouldn't be buying hoops or, of that. Like, Prism is your standard.
Yeah.
Right? Do your research. Get it at the right time. Make sure there are players in there in that draft class that, have built up over the years collectability. So, yeah.
But I guess we've never had that buy-in price that we've sort of seen as well, like Flawless NT, Eminence, all those sort of top level, card boxes, thousands and thousands of dollars. The ones, I guess, that we're saying, hey, it would have been cool if you banked them, were $120 boxes, on release and stuff like that. So you've immediately got 100x on the entry point.
It's
relative.
The insane.
Are you going to see those boxes be $100,000 in 15 years? And the only reason why those like early Finest and Kobe years is because Jordan and Kobe were in it.
Yeah.
One I take a flyer on is maybe that French kid. I mean, hey, he could be incredible. He could be incredible. Would I bet the farm on it? Absolutely not, because just look at the last 5 years of draft, key draft people who's outside of Luka.
Yeah.
Really, there's been a whole bunch of big names that have also been around that the hobby's just gone
dropped right off.
Even like Anthony Edwards and stuff. I mean, he's a great player, got a good fan base, but I don't see people banking on boxes and stuff because he's in there and all that sort of stuff. It's like you kind of need that the test of time.
Definitely
consistent performance. And even if it is Hall of Fame career, I mean, there's Hall of Famers that you wouldn't get the money for that people pay for Rasheed Wallace. I mean, you just need those, if you're talking about investment, those niche collectors of players like Rasheed, Dennis Rodman, all those guys are ridiculous. They fight over cards pretty much, to win them and pay far beyond the comps and everything. Because
the card they're not fighting over is the silver prism.
Yeah,
they've got one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the one of ones. It's the number to 10,
finale,
number to 5.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw a Sheed grand finale turn up and people just lost their bloody mind bidding for it.
Okay, we are going to tie off tonight's episode now and split this up into 2 parts. So if you'd like to hear the second part, that will be dropping later in the week. And on behalf of Adam, Parris, and Carl, thank you everyone for listening. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you all really soon. Thanks a lot. Good night.